So next one is something that kind of surprised me. Is Nebraska has the second best recruiting class in the West, which surprised me a little bit, just like with all of the drama that seems to surround Nebraska football.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the 21st ranked recruiting class in the country, second in the West, fifth in the Big Ten. I think that it has something to say about them trying to get out of the game with Oklahoma. I think that game is going to make them look really bad because Oklahoma is going to be like, all right, you losers, we're going to show you that you're losers. And they're going to score like 100 points and Nebraska is going to feel hurt. And I think that that's going to hurt them for the rest of the season. I think Nebraska is going to not recover from that game.
Yeah.
So I don't feel good about Nebraska, despite how good the recruiting is.
I don't see. I'm looking it up now. I just looked it up now. They have had a top 25 recruiting class at 2016. Now they've had it ever since then.
Like, how do you have that good of a recruiting class and be so fucking dog water?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand it. And the thing that I don't really understand is because every year it seems like going into every single season, everybody hypes Nebraska up. Yeah, like, this is the year. This is the year Nebraska. This is the year they turn it around. This
and
is
they're always hyping up one of their quarterbacks.
Yeah,
like
one of their Martinez's or
yeah.
It seems like Martinez has been their quarterback for like the last 10 years.
And it's like, oh, he's a dark horse Heisman candidate. The fuck he is.
No, he isn't.
He's not gonna win a Heisman. Nuts. I don't even think Nebraska has a chance to compete for the Big Ten West at this point.
No. Not where they stand, and honestly, maybe not with Scott Frost as their coach. I think we're going into the fourth year of Scott Frost. A lot of hype went into that hire, returning to his alma mater. He led UCF to a undefeated record and acclaimed national title.
They won that national title. They went to Disney World.
If you go to Wikipedia and look up the 2016, 2017 national champion,
the 2017 national championship, it's on there.
Yeah, it's on there. It's listed.
Yeah, and the NCAA recognizes it.
Yeah.
So it's there. They went to Disney World. Fucking won.
Yeah. Well, the campus is like a mile away from Disney World.
I know. Also, I think something to be more impressive, that is more impressive about that particular team is literally the year before they didn't win a game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
if Scott Frost could do that with UCF, who's probably had recruiting rankings in the 50s to 80s in that area, I don't know it off the top of my head, but I assume that's where UCF is. Why can't he do that with Nebraska in a lesser part of the Big Ten, the Big Ten West, a weaker side? Why is he not able to even go 500? He hasn't had a 500 season yet.
I don't know what it is. I think honestly, I think it comes down to Nebraska as a whole, and the program just isn't where it used to be. And I think that their move to the Big Ten was a mistake. I mean, I do think that, because I think
financially it might not be a mistake, but
but the thing is, I do think if Nebraska was in the Big 12, they would be competing for Big 12 titles. That's how I feel about the team.
Would they though?
I do. Yeah, I mean, because, and the reason for that is because is Nebraska better than TCU? Probably.
I mean,
do think that
over the last 10 years, I'd say TCU is like pretty significantly better.
It's you can't compare it as much because they're not recruiting the same guys anymore. Now Nebraska is recruiting the guys in the Big Ten's footprint, and it's a lot harder to get those guys to leave the Big Ten, the original Big Ten, for Nebraska. Whereas Nebraska in the Big 12 was a high recruiter for the Big 12's footprint.
Yeah.
And I think that makes a difference. They're not an as established name in the Big Ten areas. And I think that is what makes it hard.
Well, it's so much farther west than all the other Big Ten schools.
Yeah. It makes it very difficult for them to recruit the same talent that Ohio State is recruiting, that even Wisconsin is recruiting.
Yeah.
Because one, Nebraska is not exactly a hotbed for recruiting.
No.
But when Nebraska was on TV every week in Texas, well, then they're going to be able to recruit Texas because
people in Texas know who that is.
Yeah, people are watching Nebraska games in Texas.
Yeah.
Whereas it's harder to bring kids out from Ohio to go to Nebraska when people from Ohio have only heard as Nebraska as being a bunch of corn. And it doesn't help that your mascot is the Cornhuskers.
Yeah.
You know?
So okay, so we'll get into Rutgers more in the Big Ten East. But Rutgers is kind of in a similar circumstance in terms of recruiting as Nebraska, as they're on they're in the East Coast. They're not really in the Big Ten footprint, as you say. But yet Greg Schiano's gone in there and turned Rutgers around, and he's been there 2 years now, and he's
had one season.
Is it one season? Okay. Well, there's going into his second year then. Yeah. So one season in, he's already had a better season than Scott Frost has had 3 years with a lesser recruiting class, guys he didn't even recruit.
Yes. And I think that Greg Schiano's a better coach.
Yeah.
That's one thing. But also, the New York and New Jersey recruiting area is actually really solid as compared to Nebraska's recruiting, like in-state recruiting, not great. But Rutgers is able to recruit New York and New Jersey, even Pennsylvania, pretty well because they're in very close proximity to that. And we don't hear about New York and New Jersey being like a hotbed for recruiting, but it's a solid area where there's a lot of people playing football. And when you get more people playing football, you're going to get some talented guys. And so I think that that's the difference between Nebraska and Rutgers.
Makes sense.
Scott
Frost, he needs to turn it around quick, or he's out of a job, and he's.
I like Scott Frost, but I don't know if him
need to get results.
I don't think him at Nebraska makes sense, and I think it's going to take a really special coach at Nebraska to make it make sense.
Hello, Kitty.
My cat has joined the chat.